One day, I guarantee you, I will be working in the highest building in Manhattan in the most luxurious corner office. And on the door, it will say CEO. I guarantee it. Well, I'm a window cleaner, so I'll be cleaning the windows, but I'll still be working there.
Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Leg out.
What up, everybody? Give a brother an applause. And some steak to go with the applesauce. Sounds like applause. Today is an exciting day because we've been I've always contemplating, okay, am I doing too much or not enough? And I've been working for the longest time at the food company, and the one of the problems I have is, you see, I guess it's just like Instagram, where everybody sits at home and they see how well everybody else is doing, and then you start to get depressed. You say, "Oh, my life sucks. Oh, why isn't my wife cheating on me and dating that guy? Because look at all they do is go on vacation." And you could get that way with business too. Every company you go look at has 60,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and the CEO is like, "Oh yeah, I just started coming, blah blah blah." And as a company owner, you say, "Oh, to hell with it. I'm not doing it like everybody else is doing." But in reality, that these people that are always taking pictures of them in Hawaii and this, that, and the other, I know those people. They don't have more exciting lives than me. They just do a better job at capturing it and putting it in front of the world. And it's hey, that's fine. It's just like a photo album you share with the world. And sure, we get way too involved, but that's just where we're at in the world. You're not going to go back to 1984 where one present is going to last you all, or two presents, Christmas and birthday. No, we're overstimulated, and we need that to be normal. So with business, yeah, you're always seeing these companies doing well, and I've contemplating, okay, do I need to start shedding some of the things I'm doing? But I know my roots, and my roots are: you work hard, you give people what they want, and eventually you will get what you want. The problem is the eventually part. That's one part that gets missed out in every story, pretty much. You always hear about the rags to riches, but it's done in a methodical way, and the guy's like a ninja, just working up the corporate ladder, or in business, a few sales turn to many, and there you go. So we would go to, you've heard me do podcasts on swap meets. We'd go sell our product, and again, I'm old school, and our product happens to be a good product, and now it needs to be pitched through social media. So I got on board, figured out how to do it, and nothing came in. And finally, I talked to the president of our company. I'm like, "Hey, we sit on a board. I'm part of the board, and our founder, so to speak, he's a food technologist, and he's a well-rounded person." And I mentioned, and it was almost simultaneously, I mentioned this keto diet that I've heard what's his name, Vinny Tortorich talking about. And I said, "Hey, how about this keto thing?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, he's heard nothing but good things about it. And since he's a food technologist, he tends to be up to date on all the latest fads and everything else. And yeah, like he's totally into New Kids on the Block and stuff like that. So he said, okay, Brent, I want you to focus on that. So I focused on it and started texting and emailing and everything else to whomever else I could do it to. And I got a lot of negative stuff and, no thanks and blah, 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 because people are oversaturated. But I kept on going. And then some of the other people on the board, they were making headwaves in another part of the business that, selling to schools and things like that. So it got exciting, but then, there was lulls and different problems. And then, of course, people get frustrated with each other like in any business. But it's like I have that business problem. I have I have a cleaning company, the business problems there. And then, of course, your family life. And it's funny because you go to any one and whatever they see, that's their reality. So it's like, oh, can you make sure you do this, that, and the other because you're in front of them, but little do they know you just spent 12 hours working on another project. But that's life. And if you're going to complain too much, then this business is not for you. And so anyway, so I've been reaching out to these people, and finally, we started getting some feedback in that we were sending samples. People liked the samples, and then they started posting things. And then one person posted to another, and now it's 9:00 at night, and I'm driving back to our kitchen. We have a commercial kitchen to make more product because we have a good problem. We can barely keep up with people. We can't even send out samples because all our product is being sold right now. And this is 20-something years of being in business, working my fingers to the bone, and to get sales like this is just, to me, it's like Christmas. Though it's not enough to push us over the edge right now, but you got to remember, my needle is pointed north, not in a huge trajectory, because then you can come down just as fast, just enough to make waves. And now this is such a boost. But here's the thing: is knowing, the nice thing about being an experienced business person. And I'll say it a million times, it's not that I'm a genius, it's just I've seen companies come and go. Now I have to take this momentum and double down on it and look for the next thing. Because like the Airbnb, they had Obama came into Denver and they didn't have enough places to keep hotels. And, because all the Democrats are coming into town and the jails are probably full. So Airbnb, they got a huge boost. And they got a huge boost, but then they lost it. And then they had to come up with other stuff. And later on, they did well again. So it's knowing these things happen is, you like right now we have a certain group of dieters now that are really into our product. So I got to keep it up. I got to keep them engaged. And again, this isn't like a couple of us has had an idea, hey, let's make some products that taste good and are healthy. This is years and years and years and years and years of work. And I had no luck. Okay, so I am like the one end of the spectrum. If you are not the smartest person in the room, you are just the hardest working person. I am the antithesis of that. So when this thing, as this thing does well, I'll keep you posted. And if it, my goal is to become a household name, not because I want to make a lot of money, not because I need to be more stressed out, because that will happen. I'm smart enough to know this. It's because I want to look at everybody and say, look, here's somebody that dropped out of high school, has every learning disability known to man, but I just worked my tail off. And you're like, oh, well, work's easy. No, work is hard for me because I have health problems too that make me, I'm diabetic and have other things going on, and it does make me get more fatigued than a typical person. And again, it's not that it's an excuse. It's just what I'm saying is the old saying, if I could do it, anybody could do it. I'm tired of hearing that from, the athletes and, people with a great brain, that I'm just envious of. And the thing of it is, you and I, as average people, could get the results. We could overachieve, but we just have to be smart. Say, look, okay, here's our reality. Here's what we have. Here's what we have to work with. Let's work with it. But what happens is, since we are average, then the negative stuff comes into play, and then you start focusing on the negative. You start talking yourself out of overachieving, and then you're like, oh, why can't I do this? Oh, I'm not a good speaker, Oh, my brother-in-law says I stutter, I can't do that. And it's like, okay, so you need their permission. Well, good luck, because nobody's ever going to give you permission. And it's weird because you can't get out of the gate because everybody around you is envious, and because they're underachieving in their life, so they don't want you to. But what's ironic is they won't celebrate you until strangers celebrate you, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. He's my relative," and this, that, and I'm look. I heard something good today. It's on the Gary Ask Gary show. It's like he goes, "My family is flawed, but they're mine." So it's like, I love my family, but they could also handicap you if they're the negative type. And a lot of times they're negative just because it's a defense thing. They don't want to see you waste your time or money. And, I am glad for that. But, knowing me, it's just that's just what I got to do. I have to achieve. And I look at it, I want to do it for my family, of course. But you got to be smart about it. And then, like my kids are young, I don't want to squander my kids' youth because I got some pursuit of business. So it has to be in balance. So you play with your kids every second you're there. You take them when you could take them, and then it'll help them in business later because they'll be born into it. They're not going to be intimidated, and you'll have good memories. Even if it's them working in the office, happening to pack jars of Nextella, so be it. They're learning business and they're seeing the work. And of course, even if I become a multi-millionaire tomorrow, I'm rich, just rich with love. I don't take that achievement away from them. I don't spoil them, so they appreciate things and they'll have a little bit of grit. So basically I'm just kind of giving you an update. Things are going well. Our cells are doing about as good as we can handle right now. And look at the trajectory. It's going up. But like anything else, now you have to build a foundation underneath the trajectory. That's a hard word to say for somebody that dropped out of public high school. But it's okay. The way things are going, I'm going to hire an assistant. You have to build a foundation underneath that so you could keep on going up, because as it comes down at a bottom, you can't just ride what you have now. So there's things that we got to get together and figure out, okay, how can we keep this going? Buying more equipment, advertising more, reaching out more, supporting what we have. Because what happens too is we have something good. Guess who's going to be chomping at our bit? The competitors. I'm not afraid because we're better than anybody around us, just because we're good at it. We like what we do. So we will we'll be there in the end. Go to the next level. And those of you who are listening, I'm gonna take you with me. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Now, where's there Starbucks near me?